host, Ricardo Camacho, and today we have two guests. We have our, I don't know how to put this, but we have our SGA president and vice presidential candidates. However, they did run unopposed, so I guess they are president and vice president elect. I'll let these two gentlemen introduce themselves.
I'm Ruben Riffin. I am a sophomore from Naples, Florida. I am an exceptional student education major. I also am the new vice president-elect. I recently just served as Mr. Sophomore for the 2012-2013 school year.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Douglas. I'm a sophomore majoring in political science with an emphasis in international affairs and public administration. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, but I relocated to Lakeland, Florida, and that's my new home.
Political science, ESC. Two completely different majors. How did you all come to this agreement of running together? Who approached who? Was this a mutual agreement?
Truly, I'll tell you about my first connection with Mr. Riffin. I was walking to work study, walking up the steps in the Parliament Center, and he's like, "Hey, aren't you the guy that is throwing one of these homecoming events? You're trying to do like a little jazz night?" And I said, "Yeah, that's me." He introduced himself. He said, "Hey, let's collab. Let's get some ideas pumping and let's do something." And immediately, he took the initiative to track me down, and we collabed on the event, and we tried to get a homecoming event together. And him not even being a member of the actual SGA board or the executive board, being a member of the Royal Court, to take initiative in such a manner really impressed me. And from that, our friendship just blossomed.
So you all do have a working friendship.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Which is good. Now, tell me about ESC. What can you bring from ESC into student government?
Well, with being an exceptional student education major, you are taught more than just teaching. You are taught to accommodate each child or for whatever differences they may have. You have children that have behavioral issues along with severe mental issues such as autism, and being taught that right now, I understand that Bethune-Cookman, even though it is a historically black college and university, everybody that attends this school has their own way that they need to be tended to and adhere to, from SAB, which is the Student Activities Board, to the Student Senate. Being that I aspire to be a part of Student Government Association, my job is to govern. You know, my job is not to rule, but yet to govern, to accommodate each organization along with SGA so that we can better the student body, so that we can reach each and every individual in the best way possible.
Okay, you all, you have been on SGA before. And you were Mr. Sophomore. What are you all's ideas of SGA? You all have been here for how long now?
2 years.
2 years?
This will be the completion of my second year.
Okay, so you're both juniors.
Sophomore.
But you be becoming juniors.
Yes,
correct.
sir.
Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, so what is your idea of SGA, and what has your impression been of the past SGA boards? Anyone who can take it away.
Well, I guess I'll begin. I'll say when I came in under the Minter-Tillis administration my freshman year, that really opened up opportunities for me. I had the opportunity to be elected as the freshman class president, and in serving in that capacity, it really showed me who I needed to be, who the leaders were on campus, who the mentors were, and those mentors guided me. People who did sit on the SGA board and people who did not. So I really got to network with different people and accept my calling. And I didn't feel like I could serve best as the freshman class president. So I started shadowing the council person at large at that time. And then this year brought me into serving as a council person at large. I networked with different other people and really felt like that was that for me. And I enjoyed my position, truly.
Ruben.
I started Bethune-Cookman University in spring 2011. Coming in under the Ingram and Minter administration right around the campaign season, being that I came to school in the spring. So I saw firsthand how real campaign season is and how much people put into it, the effort and the passion that they really have. Coming into Bethune-Cookman, I guess I wasn't your quote-unquote SGA kid. A lot of the things that I have done have been social. I felt that over the 2 years that I've been here, the influence that I have on the student body socially, I felt like I can use that more to benefit them instead of myself. So when I look at the past SGA boards, even with the Mentor and Tillot's and the Ingram and Mentor administration that have done great things. I believe Ingram and Mentor, they established the Student Activities Board so that the Student Government Association can do their job, which is to govern. You know, I don't want to just piggyback off what they did. When you talk about what I looked at that they've done, I want to make sure that that legacy is still being carried on, and more effectively so, because I know there are still times, even with this past board, the James and JoJo, with them, the Student Activities Board and Student Government Association have clashed at times. So I believe coming in, I want them to understand we respect you as Student Activities Board. Our job is not to rule you. Our job is to make sure that you are held accountable for the things that you do and that it impacts the whole campus as a whole.
Now, you all, I take it, have very different personalities. Do you all somehow balance one another out? I take it you're more business oriented. I guess you're a business oriented leader, and I take Ruben as a much more social oriented leader. How do you connect with students socially, and how can you connect with SGA? I guess I don't want to say professionally because you're a professional. I guess in a business way.
Well, I guess I'll take the lead on that, and I'll say that definitely our strengths and weaknesses complement each other. I don't want to say that I'm socially disadvantaged, but definitely Ruben has really helped me put myself out there socially. I attend a lot more social events, and that helps with relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
Cultivating these relationships with different students sets the foundation to help get to that professional level. So, because some students are not there yet with SGA, but sometimes you need to build that relationship. And once you set that foundation, just like Dr. Bethune did, and you set the foundation of our university, and then you build upon that. And that's how we're going to help with SGA building on that foundation.
When see a lot of people that know me, or that I want to say think they know me, when they see me, they see the Ruben that may be stepping or strolling, or they see the Ruben that is trying to raise funds for whatever organization that I may be affiliated with. So when they see my face in the social light. However, what the students don't see is when I am sitting in meetings with President Jackson and the Florida legislators that came down here a couple weeks ago. What the students don't see is me attending check signings that Sodexo have given along with Dex Imaging, who is in charge of all the printing that's done on campus. You see, I firmly believe that socially and, quote unquote business professional are two separate entities. However, aspiring to be in a position like SGA, I understand that there's certain things I may have to tone down because of the position I hold is so prestigious. Also when it comes to balancing each other out, I believe, a lot of people look at how genuine you are as an individual. Some people want to know, are you really doing this for your organization, for yourself as a resume builder? Like, what is your purpose? Running along with Jason, being that we're running uncontested, we found it fit to find the initiative to put ourselves out there, to put ourselves in the light where it was nobody else to point or pick at. It was just us. People don't really see us together. People don't know, are they cool? What are they trying to do? What are they trying to accomplish? And I believe that, us balancing each other out, like, how people really see it, we can build on that so that we can accomplish our platform and the things that we aspire to do.
You all have both served on SGA before, in the capacity of Mr. Sophomore and Councilperson at Large.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the turnout from the student body to student body meetings and SGA meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And first tell me that.
Okay. I'd say on average our medium attendance for our SGA meetings, those Monday meetings, have been rather small. have been rather small. And that could be on both parts. And we've had conversations these past 2 weeks with students why that is. And we've also had conversations on why our student body meetings are so in low attendance. That's part of marketing flaw within SGA. Sometimes we can change our strategy in order to appeal to our audience and how we're going to capture those folks. We've also talked to some other students, and they said that they have to hold themselves accountable. They have to make their way to those SGA meetings. If we know that this organization is having this party at this club, we can all make it there without even a paper flyer going out or even an email blast, but we know by word of mouth. Why don't we know about the student body meetings by word of mouth? Why do we need to have flyers? Why do we need to market in such an extreme capacity if other organizations are doing the exact same thing and they're having a higher attendance?
Do you see the disconnect? I'm trying to get it here. How can you make the SGA of importance as these different, I guess, socials that these different organizations have? How do you get SGA to that level? How will you do that?
Right. And that goes back to what I stated earlier about that foundation, that relationship building. So it goes back to that social relationship, that goes back to that business professional relationship. So we're both capturing, I don't want to say different types of audiences, but we're capturing maybe two different types of people, and then some people that kind of fall in between. So that, again, embraces the unity of our students. It brings them together. The students who are more academically inclined and the students who are more socially inclined and engaged, it brings them wholeheartedly under one roof so we can talk about the issues, because this affects all of our students, not just one student, not just two students, but everyone.
Speaking of issues, what are some of the issues that you two see on campus that you want to work on or that you think needs improving?
One of the biggest issues I believe that a lot of students complain about are the housing. You know, the administration wants to make sure we don't call the student housing dormitories anymore. We want to call them residential halls. However, for the administration to want us as students to call them residential halls, they should be made as such. You know, you shouldn't walk into a dorm when the AC cuts off or the AC doesn't work. You have leaking roofs. When I look at the students, I look at the students as customers. You know, the tuition that you pay is almost like a seed that you're sowing. You should be able to reap every single benefit of your soul. And I believe that the administration should really hear the voice of the students. Bethune-Cookman has only about 3,500 students. When you have SGA meetings every Monday night and only about 40 to 50 kids come, that's a problem. You know, if you have just 300 to 400 of those kids come out and you put the administration and the board of trustees right there in the center of attention and let them know, voice your opinions. I cannot live like this. You know, I don't want to go to sleep like this. I don't want to wake up under these conditions. They have no choice but to listen, because you are a customer. You know, yes, you're striving for an education, but the education isn't free. And that's one of the biggest issues I know that students have a problem with, because, you know, say you might not like the food in the caf, or say you might not like how some activities are being ran on campus. At the end of the day, you have your own little sanctuary where that's your dorm room, that's your residential hall, that's your living quarters. And those should be made of the most importance, because you're paying to eat, sleep, wake up, you know, wash, you know, just take care of yourself there. And I believe that the administration should really hear the voice of the students, because a lot of the students that go to Bethune-Cookman stay on campus. And the students that stay on campus should understand that we care. You know, I've stayed on campus before, and I can honestly say that it hasn't always been a great experience. And it's not, okay, well, let's not complain about it no more, but how can we change that? You know, we've thought of ideas of inviting the administrators to come and spend the weekend in the dorms. So, well, what they want to be residential halls, but the students look at them as dorms. Well, you spend a weekend here and see what we stay here for about 8 to 9 months out of the year.
Right.
So that was just one outlook, one perception, one idea to try to change the culture.
Jason.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely have to agree with Ruben. We really are trying to show more exposure of SGA. We're really trying to, again, show the transparency. We are here to work. We see that parking is an issue. Every time that I'm coming out of the dining hall's parking lot or coming out of the mailroom's parking lot, I'm almost getting hit. and I don't have a fancy car, but I know that's an issue for students. That's a safety issue. Their crosswalks are not available. I'm not originally from Florida, but I know that a lot of students here are not maybe familiar with parallel parking. But there are lines. We need to abide by those, because sometimes when we park outside those lines, we can't see oncoming traffic, which prevents, again, another safety hazard. Our students our tuition is going up. Our tuition it's always going up each year for the last, I believe, 4 consecutive years. It's increased by some type of dollar amount, whether it's $1 or whether it's a couple $100s. Something that we need to look into is scholarships. SGA has some money that they may need to disperse out to these students who are in need, whether it's a $100 book scholarship or some type of financial assistance. They need to be doing that. Mm-hmm. Students pay an activities fee, and then part of that activities fee is SGA membership dues. So that means that you are a member. Why the students don't come to the meetings and they're a member, I'm not quite sure, but they do pay something into that. So you need to be reaping something from that. And I think that that's where the students need to come to SGA and hold SGA accountable for that. And we're ready for that accountability. Another thing that we're looking for is the involvement between students. We have all these different organizations. We have, especially Greek Life, we have MPHC, we have SPOAC, then we have Black Males Think Tank and NTNW. So why do we have all these divisions? Where is the unity? When it comes together to uniting for a cause, just like when we were in the attempt to elect or petition for Dr. Jackson to become our official 6th president, which our voice was heard, it was kind of difficult. It was a struggle to get everyone united on one accord. But once we heard the issue and how pressing it was, students did that very quickly. But we don't need a pressing issue for that to come for us to unite. We should always be united. We are family. We call ourselves the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. We need to unite as Bethune-Cookman Wildcats.
You all are about to embark on a totally new kind of SGA. Mm-hmm. You all are going to be, I'm going to say the first SGA that's not dealing with student activities. You all won't be involved in any type of activity planning at all, would you all? Yeah. Is this true?
No, correct.
So you all are just going to be strictly governing student body. How do you all do this? How are you all going to actually, I guess, embrace this new role of SGA?
Well, Camacho, what I will say is during the J&J administration, James and Giovanni, this year was a transition for that. So we were finally able to actually create a separation between the governance and the social planning, which are great, both essential tools needed for our university and the retention and recruitment for our university and our students. But I will say that now that we are past that transitioning phase, this year will be the implementation of that. And with that, we really plan to focus on effective planning. And that's where it starts. During the summer, we've already started some planning on our end for the incoming fall semester and these freshmen, because that's a crucial piece. Mm-hmm. We know we're getting over 1,000 freshmen, so we really need to focus on that that audience. That's a big deal for us. So we're focusing on the fall semester. We're going to kind of start doing some budget crunching and some numbers so we can see what we're able to kind of do. We're going to implement an allocations board, so students are not just coming to the SGA meeting so they can propose money. So we can have an allocations board that they go to, so we can really focus on the issues that are defeating our students or that the students are having grievances about, that we can focus on that.
Now, I guess it's the Constitution, was ratified, I want to say, what?
Minter and Tillis.
2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, I was there. I caused a bit of a ruckus, as I normally do. What else do you think needs ratifying in the Constitution? I for one, think we have been experimenting with coed visitation. Is it coed visitation?
Yes.
Coed visitation in the Lee Riot Residence Hall. I've benefited from it a few times. I've benefited from it a few times. But how are you all going to press towards making this permanent? Coed visitation permanent in all dormitories. I'm sorry, forgive me. Residence halls.
Well, to speak on that, from my understanding, a lot of the things that people see are going into effect and being experimented on have been through the boards of the past, and along more than just the boards of the past, the administrators such as the Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Warmack, along with Dean of Students such as Emmanuel Alande. Those things have been, these trial runs that you're seeing in Lee Ryan don't so necessarily have much to do with us because we're not on the board yet. You know, as for me, I'm not on the executive board. So when they were sitting in these meetings planning out, do we really want to do this? Why do you guys need this? What's the importance of this? And should we continue it? I was not there. However, as our board, we want to make sure there is some type of structure to it. We want to make sure that the students are held accountable because it's not a right, it's a privilege to be using co-ed visitation dorms. So for us, it's not that, it's on us to make it permanent because from what I understand, it's already going into effect to spread into other residential halls. It's on us to make sure that it is held with the highest, of honor, to understand that co-ed visitation dorms is to give you the full college experience, to be able to go outside your gender, to study with other people, to be a sponge almost and collect from different cultures of the other individuals that you attend school with. So that's our job. Our job is not to make it permanent. We, as students, there's certain things we can't do. There's only certain things that we can hold other students accountable for. Because at the end of the day, we are just students. And we want to make sure that the administration understands the importance in our eyes of certain issues such as co-ed visitation dorms.
Ruben and I, we're definitely in support of this issue. We feel that we're in a collegiate environment, so we need to be held accountable as collegiate students. There should be no reason why there needs to be supervision or there needs to be, during this time or during. If we are in a collegiate environment and you expect us to perform in a collegiate atmosphere, academically and socially and spiritually, and you hold us accountable for that, then you need to hold us accountable for our visitation rights. This is not something that is new to the world. It's just that we're a little slow on times, but we're coming up, and we're definitely in support. We've been working with Dr. Warmack on this issue, and we're ready to take it to the Board of Trustees and let them know that Lee Ryan is doing very well. For the safety of our students, we're looking at the different residential halls and which halls are going to be the safest environments to do that in, because we know that we have young ladies that will be going into male halls and young men who are going to be going to young women's halls. So safety is our primary concern. Right. Other than that, we're gung-ho. We're in support of it.
Gung-ho. Speaking of safety and security,
yes.
The campus police, the TV studio has done several stories on campus police, and some students don't seem so satisfied. What can you all what can the students expect? I'm graduating. I was going to say we as students. What can the students expect from you all? How can you all improve that relationship with organizations and students? One of the main problems is the fees are just really outrageous. What can they look forward to from you all?
What I'll say that they can look forward, and this is students wise, we can look forward to improvement. Something that Ms. Cheryl Lawson Young and Chief have come to us about is uniting the students on a new plan. And this new plan will encompass a way that the Office of Safety and Security, or Department of Public Safety is now what they are called, moving to an actual police force. And that is something that they are looking towards because other universities have that. It will provide a more sound environment and more safe, secure environment for our students to keep people who are not necessarily invited on campus that will cause maybe some mayhem off of our grounds, to make sure that our students are safe. And then it'll also make sure that students and other students and faculty and staff, everyone is safe and secure. And that might, in return, have something to do with our safety fees or security fees. It may have an impact there, and it will have an impact on possibly other lighting arrangements and video cameras and innovative ideas to secure our campus.
Okay, go with me. Here we are. It is what? April 6, 2014. You're at the end of your tenure as president and vice president,
Mm-hmm.
what mark do each of you individually want to leave on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University?
Personally speaking, together as, being that the president and the vice president at Bethune-Cookman University, these are the only positions that you run on the same ticket. Every other position from Mr. BCU on down to freshman class president, you run as your own entity. At other universities, it's done different. At this university, it's not. The legacy that I would want to leave is to make sure that, a man is only as good as his word. And with our platform, I know one of my personal major emphasis on the platform under nourishment, holistically and religiously, I want to maximize the use of the renovations of the chapel. Giving my word that I will do my best to make sure the platform sees its way. When that April 6th, April 7th comes on, I want to look back and be like, I did my part. We did our part. That we tried our best, and that sometimes it takes more than trying. It's about execution. You can dream and wish and hope all you want to, but when you have nothing to show for it, all it was dreams, wishes, and hopes. So when that time comes and we look back at our school year collectively as the SGA board, as an executive board, as SGA in total, and I want to make sure that all the points of our platform we hit. There was no hitting and missing. It's either black or white. There's no moral victories this year. This is something personal because it's something that we took our time out to do because we wanted to do it. We felt it's a necessity to do so. That's on me.
And if I may add to what Mr. Riffin just stated, that we will be doing a noonday prayer on the quad this Friday with Alpha Nu Omega with the different SGA candidates and Mr. and Mrs. BCU candidates. So if you're available, you're definitely more than welcome to attend along with the rest of the student, faculty, and staff administration. But collectively, it's not what we're going to do for ourselves, because that legacy will die tomorrow. Nobody will remember that, but it's what we're going to do for our university and what we're going to leave behind. And something that an exercise I did today in freshman college, we were talking about making BCU that first choice school. I was talking to the freshmen and saying, okay, everyone here, raise your hand if this was your first choice school. I promise out of an audience of at least 300 students, there was probably 15 students who raised their hand. And that is the problem to me. That's a problem because the BCU was not my first choice school. And there's no shame and there's no hiding behind that. But what we need to do is make BCU our first choice school, a first choice school for Wildcats at 8 years old, 10 years old. They know I want to go to BCU. That's what it needs to be all across the country, all about the world.
Well, that's a deep one. Because my neutral choice was UM. I wanted to be in Miami. Gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming on the show, and I do wish you all the best of luck in this upcoming year, this upcoming academic year. You all have to, I guess, meet a standard and set one as well. And I'm sure that you all will do exceedingly well. I want to thank you both.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you.
On the show.
Appreciate the time.
And this is the end of our little political conversation. I'm your host, Ricardo Camacho, and I will see you all next week for another episode. Good night. That was really good. I'm thoroughly impressed. Your mic came off. It's all right.